welcome to Fantasia, home of the melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys another update to my Lunalight deck. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this. Starting off, we play 3 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep. Now, Black Sheep allows us to search our polymerization, also allows us to recover a Lunalight monster from our graveyard back to our hand. And when she's used as fusion material for a fusion summon, you can add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard or extra deck back to your hand as well. So she is basically the centerpiece of the deck. Everything revolves around Black Sheep and being able to loop her multiple times during a single turn in order to recover resources as you're fusion summoning and going through your plays. Okay, so next off, play 3 copies of Lunalight Blue Cat. Now, Blue Cat is the level 4 of the deck, which is really important because this deck likes to make rank 4s. A lot of them, especially the Zodiac ones, because they allow you to go for multiple searches in a single turn. Now, Blue Cat is also a floater, so if she's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can summon another Lunalight monster straight from your deck, which is really nice. And yeah, so she is really important to the deck as well. Definitely need 3 copies of her. Now, in conjunction with her, in order to make rank 4s, you need a lot of revival. Luckily, though, Lunalight Tiger is 2 forms of revival in 1. She's 2 monster reborns in 1. One's her pendulum effect and one's her monster effect. So the pendulum effect, you can revive something from your graveyard, a Lunalight monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated, it cannot attack, and it's destroyed during the end phase, which is fine because if Blue Cat gets destroyed during the end phase, you can special another Blue Cat from your deck. So, Lunalight Tiger's monster effect is if this card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it without any restrictions. So this can help revive things like Cat Dancer and Panther Dancer as well if you need to attack during that same turn, which is kind of nice. Last but not least, we play 1 copy of Lunalight Wolf, which you need to banish some Lunalights in your graveyard to, or on your field if you really want to fusion summon that way as well. So she's really good. She's the reason we can bring out things like Harbinger, which is really nice for first turn setups. Okay, so next off, we are playing 3 copies of Armageddon Knight. This is a Dark Lunalight deck, and this is the Dark Engine. So 3 copies of Armageddon Knight because it is like a foolish burial. It is essentially a TCG legal version of Kaleido Chick. So if you really want to play Kaleido Chick in your deck, don't worry about it. Just play Armageddon Knights in her place for now. Trust me, it works almost the exact same way, just that you can't use him as a material for fusion summon. So you can send a dark monster from your deck to the graveyard when he is summoned, which is usually going to be a Blue Cat, because if you send Blue Cat, Lunalight Tiger and other cards can revive the Blue Cat from the graveyard, and then you can go for your rank 4 plays and start searching. Okay, so, and to cap off the Dark Engine, we play 1 copy of Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. This is really just a tech to go along with Armageddon Knight, so you can send this card. Zephyros can bounce things like your Lunalight Tiger and your Pendulum Scale, you can bounce your Fire Formation Tenkies, it can bounce a lot of things. And if you use Instant Fusion and bring back a monster, like let's say you bring back a Maxi or a Ghost Ogre, Zephyros can actually bounce those back to your hand too, so you can reuse hand traps. It puts another level 4 body on the field, and it's really, really good. Normally you're going to be sending him though during your 2nd turn, unless you opened really broken, you're not going to be sending Zephyros off Armageddon Knight on your 1st turn. So that's just something to keep in mind. This is a very combo-oriented deck, and the way it works is it's very specific. I will have a combo tutorial series of videos coming out in the next week or so keep a lookout for that. Okay, so next off we play 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Probably the best hand trap in the game, especially because Dragonic Diagram is so important in True King Dinosaurs and in like any True King variant of a deck, actually. Or True Draco variant of other decks like Zodiacs and things like that. So it's very important to use Ghost Ogre this format. Definitely recommend capping at 3. You could probably get away with 2, but you really want to see this as soon as possible, just to stop your opponent in their tracks in their plays. And of course, to cap off the monster lineup, we play 1 copy of Maxi. If you don't play it, you'll never have a chance to draw into it, so I definitely recommend running it, even though it's at 1. Anyway, that does it for the monsters. Next off, we're going to go into the spell cards. So for the spell cards, starting off, we play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. Now, this is the rota for the deck. You get to search out any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster. So the only Lunalight monster I can't search is the Lunalight Wolf. But that is fine, because we have other ways to search her as well, which I'll get into in just a bit. Next up, we play 2 copies of Polymerization because it is the main fusion spell of the deck. Black Sheep, of course, handles the searching for that. And then following that, we play one copy of Fusion Substitute. Counts as a polymerization, so unfortunately we can't play more than this combined, 3 combined, but it's fine. I really do love Fusion Substitute, and it's of course has gained popularity among Zodiac players because of its ability to just recycle Norden. So we do that as well. We can recycle Norden with this. You can recycle your other Lunalight fusions with this as well. So it's a very versatile card. I definitely recommend running one. Some people like running 3 polymerizations, but I really do love my Fusion Substitute. So the extra draw helps a lot too. Okay, next off we play 2 copies of Fusion Recovery. If you watch my regionals report, you'll know that this doesn't really help a lot, but just having the card in your deck and being able to have a chance to draw into it late game is really good, because you can recover a lot of resources and it can really turn the tide in a duel. Okay, next off we play 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume. This is the themed Monster Reborn and Searcher for the deck. So you can revive a Lunalight monster from your graveyard, and in that same turn you can also banish this card, discard another random card from your hand, and search another Lunalight monster. So this is so good, especially because none of its effects are once per turn, so this is just absolutely amazing. And again, this is why you send Blue Cat off of Armageddon Knight, because your Perfume can revive the Blue Cat as well. Once we get more level 4s, you know, Crimson Fox or Kaleido Chick, the ratios will start to see a little change, especially in how the deck functions. But until then, this is how we have to play. More revival we have in the form of 3 copies of Instant Fusion, which is really great because, again, like I told you earlier, you can revive things like hand traps and stuff, and Zephyros can bounce it back. Well, you can also revive things like Black Sheep and have Zephyros bounce Black Sheep back to your hand, so you can search for a second polymerization using just 1 Black Sheep. So that's always really nice to have, and I definitely recommend playing 3 Instant Fusions because you want to see this. Once I get into my combo tutorials, you'll see that Lunalight Tiger, Lunalight Perfume, and Instant Fusion all work in conjunction with Armageddon Knight, but Instant Fusion has the best results in terms of establishing a first turn field. Instant Fusion gives you the strongest field out of all of the ones that you could possibly make. So yeah, there's that to keep in mind when moving forward. Next off, we play 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone for removal. I'm predicting things like Paleozoics and stuff to be less popular because True Dracos are like literally the perfect counter to them. So not too worried about a ton of back row. Strike might start seeing side deck play a little bit because True Dracos and things are tribute summon monsters, so you can't strike the sum of those. So there's it's just a little speculation for now, but Cosmic Cyclone also banishes things. You can also banish True Draco back row, so there's spells and traps, so when they're sent from the field to the graveyard, they actually can destroy your spells and monsters and traps and stuff like that. So by banishing them, you're basically saying no, you don't get your effects, while still removing their back row so they can't use it against you. Okay, so next off we play 1 copy of Raigeki. Raigeki is just really nice for just clearing fields, especially if you happen to go second, which doesn't, I mean, it's a dice roll, but this deck really likes to go first in setup. We also play 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army because you want, it's basically a 4th copy of Armageddon Knight. You really want to see Armageddon Knight. It is the main combo starter of the deck. So yeah, that does it for all these spell cards. Next off, I'm going to go into the trap cards. So for the trap card, starting off, playing 2 copies of Solemn Strike. Now, Solemn Strike, really self-explanatory, but the reason why I'm playing 2 instead of 3 like I was in my regional report, I'll actually get to in just a bit. Next off, we play 1 copy of Solemn Warning. More Solemns, more Summon Negations, always really good. This is because our deck likes to go first. I usually side this out game 2 because if my opponent wants to go first, this is really a dead draw. Solemn Strike's at least good for breaking fields because it can stop monster effects and it's less dead than Solemn Warning. And last but not least, I actually play 1 copy of Solemn Scolding. The reason why I play this is because I want to negate more specific like spells and trap cards in this upcoming format. You don't really want your opponent to use Diagram. You don't want your opponent to have these types of power spells that can go and break your field. And it's also really good. You can negate things like Raigeki and stuff like that as well. It's kind of a little more versatile. Some people would say a third Solemn Strike would be better, but I'm kind of testing this out right now, playing with the idea of a Scolding, because normally we don't play any other back row, and we don't normally set bluffs or anything. So, you know, if you open up with just one trap, Solemn Scolding is probably the trap that you want to open up with. So yeah, there's that. So these are the 4 trap cards, and that does it for the main deck. So next off, we're going to go into the side deck. So for the side deck, starting off, we play 3 copies of DD Crow, and like I said in my regionals report, definitely bumping DD Crow up to 3 because it's so good. It's a really nice hand trap overall, although I think it's gonna be less effective when we see a decline in Infernoids and Paleozoics due to like Ash Blossom and just the fact that True Dracos are coming into the scene. But for now, I'm keeping 3 of them in. It might change later. A more accurate side deck will probably come up in like about a month when I get to see tournament results and see what seems to be the meta right now. But DD Crow is also really good against True King Dinos and stuff. You just banish key cards in their graveyard so that they can't go for extended plays. Okay, next off we play 2 copies of Denko Sekka. Denko Sekka locks out a bunch of back row, and since we don't play much ourselves, it's actually really good. This is usually for Paleozoics and stuff, but again, we'll see in about a month. For now, I'm just keeping them in just in case, because people seem to like playing their totally awesome spam decks. Okay, so next off we play 2 copies of Dark Hole. This is for going second, so if I know my opponent wants to go first in games 2 or 3, I'm going to side these in and just wipe their fields, especially with like True Kings and stuff like that. True King Dinosaurs, I mean, or True Dracos, as in like True Dracos, Zodiacs, and things like that. Dark Hole is a really good card. Just clear the field and everything, get rid of everything before you go off. Okay, next off we play 3 copies of Twin Twisters. This is something I would side in going second. Cosmic Cyclones are probably better going first, because once you have an established field, you don't want the True Draco spells and traps to start popping your monsters in your back row. So Twin Twisters is nice because if you're going second and they set some stuff, you can blow them up without any fear of them blowing your stuff up, because you have an empty field when you're going second. Twin Twisters is also good against, you know, back row heavy decks and stuff. If people are still playing a very turtle-y version of Zodiacs, then definitely Twin Twisters is going to go right in for games 2 and 3. Okay, next off we play 2 copies of Mask Restrict because it's good against, well, True Dracos, because they tribute summon their stuff. It also comes with the bonus of stopping Kaijus, which is going to be very popular as a result of True Dracos, because Masterpiece is a very difficult card for a lot of decks to get over. Not this deck, fortunately, because we have big beefy monsters. But because of the influx of Kaijus in the people's side decks and main decks, Mask Restrict actually has a secondary, you know, side indirect effect on that as well. Protects your board from Gamma Seals, essentially. And last but not least, we play 3 copies of Quaking Mirror Force, because if you're going second against things like dinosaurs, you know, strike and stuff is not going to be too effective. And I really believe that Quaking Mirror Force is so good, because you can just, when dinos want to kill you, they want to kill you, so they're going to attack. You can just flip everything face down. You don't have to worry about, you know, their Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. You could have baited out the Logia earlier on your turn before you set this. There's just so many different things that you could do to bait out like their negations, and then set this thing, and the Quaking Mirror Force just puts everything face down. Because Panther Dancer can attack everything twice and just kill the entire board, similar to how Ultimate Conductor Tyranno operates. You can just clear the board with the Panther Dancer and just attack directly for a bunch of damage afterwards. So Quaking Mirror Force is just really good, in my opinion, in this deck as a side. So yeah, there's that. So that does it for the side deck. Next off, we're going to go into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, starting off, we actually play 1 copy of Zodiac Tiger Mortar. This is really good because we can refuel some of our XYZs at times, and you know, it came up a couple times on regionals, as I explained in that video, where I just refueled an Evil Swarm Nightmare, and my opponent had no out because I had so much disruption on the field by that point that he had to scoop. Next off, we play 2 copies of Broad Bowl. Zodiac Broad Bowl allows us to search any Beast Warrior type monster from our deck, so this is another way that we can search for a Lunalight Wolf, so that's really good. So normally what you'll do is you'll overlay 2 level 4s into your first Zodiac Broad Bowl, get a search, overlay a Tiger Mortar, you know, just as a stepping stone essentially to the second Brawl Bowl, so you can get your second search before you overlay into a Zodiac Trident, which is really nice to end up with, so you can pop your opponent's stuff on their turn. It's also really important. A lot of people who have been trying to figure out my combos overlook the fact that you need Trident to pop your own Lunalight Tiger in your Pendulum Scale in order to continue your combos, because then Lunalight Tiger can bring something back from the graveyard, you can extend your fusion plays, your XYZ plays, and things like that. Definitely, Zodiac Trident has multiple purposes, not just blowing up your opponent's stuff. Most of the time, like I'd say 80% of the time you're using Trident is to blow up your own cards. But yeah. Next off, we're actually playing 2 copies of Daigusto Emerald. This is because we want to be able to recycle our own Emerald with our first Emerald. We also like to recycle a lot of our Zodiac XYZ so we can go for multiple searches on subsequent turns, which is really nice. And of course, if Trident or someone runs out of materials, you can always shuffle things back into your shuffle them back into your extra deck and then summon them on top of each other again. Okay, next off we are playing 1 copy of Evil Sworn Nightmare. This card is so good, and you can make them using Armageddon Knights, Zephyros, Lunalight Blue Cats, because it requires 2 level 4 Dark monsters. But he's basically a Book of Eclipse, and he is so good against decks like Wind Witches, where it just prevents them from even getting to Crystal Wing, this 1 card, and he's not once per turn. So when your opponent special summons the monsters, you could detach 1 material from this card and change all of them to face down defense position. Doesn't target either. So that's really good. Next off, we play 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. I used to play Castel in this place, but Abyss Dweller is so good at shutting down graveyard effects. Like, it just shuts down True King Dinosaurs so hard because they can't proc any of their baby effects in the graveyard. It is just so good for shutting them down. And last but not least, we play 1 copy of number 38? Yeah, number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Sorry about that. It was really difficult to read through the screen. Anyway, Harbinger, again, negating spells is really important right now because of Draconic Diagram. You want to stop that diagram from going off so your opponent can't search. So Harbinger is really good for that. It's also really great at negating board wipes like Dark Hole, Raigeki, and its effect to redirect attacks actually comes up a lot because we have such a weak Zodiac Trident or a weak Evil Sworn Nightmare on the field that your opponent, you know, tries to attack over them and forgets that Harbinger has that additional effect. So that's always really good to surprise your opponent with. Always read your cards, kids. But yeah, that does it for the XYZs. Next off, we're going to move into the fusions. So with our fusions, we play 1 copy of Elder Entity Norden, instant fusion target, and of course you can fuse into him with polymerization using some XYZ monsters as well. Next off, we play 2 copies of Lunalight Cat Dancer. Doesn't really come up too often. I highly suggest you don't attack with this if you can help it, because of the fact that the effect to burn your opponent for 100 damage is mandatory. They can Ghost Ogre this card, and it puts a huge dent into your plans in terms of battle phase and in terms of just main phase 2 shenanigans that you could do with the card. But it's okay because the true boss monster of the deck is Lunalight Panther Dancer. You can activate the effect during main phase 1 to attack all your opponent's monsters twice each, and is just super good at clearing fields, and she can't be destroyed by card effects, so you don't have to worry about Ghost Ogres. In fact, if your opponent doesn't read, you could bait out their Ghost Ogres. So Panther Dancer is really great for going for the OTKs. And of course, last but not least, we play 1 copy of Lunalight Leo Dancer. Leo Dancer doesn't come up a lot. You'll normally summon her like mid to late game when your opponent's low on resources and you're kind of trying to keep up, like keep your resources up against your opponent. You can always activate a Lunalight Wolf in your scale, banish a Panther Dancer and some other cards in your graveyard to summon a Leo Dancer and just swing for a game. Because 3500 attack monster that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, that can attack twice, yeah, really devastating. Just make sure your opponent doesn't have any back row. Back row is the card that usually kills this deck. Normally Mirror Forces, namely Storming and Quaking. So just keep an eye out on, for that and you'll basically be fine. But yeah, that does it for the extra deck, and that does it for the deck profile. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Lunalight content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.